Hello ladies. So in one of my previous videos I have uploaded on development communication, I am talking about the three different phases, right? I have spoken about three paradigms of development. One is modernization, other is dependency theory, another is world system analysis. Now these three paradigms, according to the video that I have already made, they form the framework for development communication for a particular third world country. I'm sure if you watched all the videos, you will understand the difference between first world, second world, and third world countries, right? So now, within the development communication paradigm, we are going to look at three very important development communication theories, right? There are multiple theories that you'll need to know from development communication teacher perspective, but from like the basic groundwork, the framework of development communication was built on these three theories. Let's look at the first concept by Wilbur Schramm. I'm going to be using a book, my notebook, in order to explain this because development communication is not my area. But like I can manage teaching it because I kind of love the subject. So we'll look at the first very important argument made by Wilbur Schramm. You know the name already. You know Schramm's model, but what you don't know is Schramm's contribution to the world of development communication is immense, right? Amazing work he's done in the field of development communication. And this theory, it's not really a theory, it's more like a concept, is very, very important, and it's been asked quite a few times in NET. It's called magic multipliers. The concept of magic multipliers is directly applied to mass media. Wilbur Schramm calls mass media as magic multipliers, right? And basically this entire thing, the concept of magic multipliers, can be embedded within the concept of dependency model, right? So this entire theory of magic multipliers was born as a result of his work with the United Nations. He was working for UNESCO, and as a part of that, they were working on a program. UNESCO was working on a program where they were going to use three dominant forms of media: radio, television, and print, to be able to communicate development-oriented behavioral patterns. Like some simple examples was the usage of soap after going to toilet in African countries and most Indian states, right? You know how things were those times. Education for women. Education for women today has picked up a lot, but post-independence, post-colonization period, education for women was one area that was really overlooked upon and was not so popular, right? So they took Wilbur Schramm's help to come up with a conceptualized model to be able to apply radio, TV, and print media in order to be able to achieve economic and social development, right? So first argument according to the magic multipliers concept was that mass media, according to Schramm, is agents of social change. He calls it agents of social change and says, in quotes, mass media is miraculous in their power to bring about that social change. Now this was the argument with which the whole concept was presented, and he also talks about how this entire thing about mass media becoming an agent of social change is going to slowly create a situation where the behavioral pattern, new knowledge learned. You teach one person. Now this is the same thing as two-step flow theory, right? You teach one person the importance of education, right? The importance of education to be able to survive in a society. This important information, when this one person goes and talks to his peers, it spreads slowly. But if you use mass media and communicate to the masses directly, the message multiplies magically, and the number of people who would now suddenly want to get education will shoot up, will rise at a very rapid rate. This is what he's saying in the first argument. The second argument is when you are going to be using mass media as magic multipliers to communicate these development oriented messages, you have to keep it very simple and bring in substantial changes, not just tell them, oh, why don't you study, why don't you go to school, not like that. You have to talk to them about the benefits. Once you talk to them about the benefits through mass media, people will naturally see what is the logical approach to understanding why you need to get education in the first place, right? So that's one argument he makes. And another very important thing he talks about as a concept of magic multipliers is resistance to change. Resistance to change is a one element that many theorists keep constantly thinking and talking about, where they're talking about how people already are grounded in their traditional roots. People have this stereotypical notion of, why should I break away from what has already been the system? Why should I start using a soap and spend so much money in buying a soap when all my ancestors have always been going to the toilet in the open, and why should there be so much focus and importance given to hygiene? Now, at such situations, if you bring light onto the fact that many dreadful diseases like typhoid and cholera and stuff spread due to absence of clean sanitation behavior, and you present it visually with strong visuals and present it with strong examples, people will listen. Now, that's another very important argument made by Schramm. And as a part of this, another very important thing that he talks about, he gives us a couple of points. The reason Schramm says mass media has to be used is, number one, to widen the developmental horizons, to increase the spread of it, to focus the attention, to raise awareness, to create a climate for change, to enforce social norms, and to create tastes, new behavioral patterns. Now, according to him, all of this is what makes development happen through mass media, right? The other two theorists will look at in the next video so that it becomes easier for me to upload. Terrible internet here, so I'll see you guys again.